A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Inside Sports. My name is Robinson Okenya. For the next 20 or 25 minutes, we'll be taking a look at what is happening in sports. Remember, yesterday we had the UEFA Europa League as well as the UEFA Conference League. We'll be taking a look at the results from the matches that were played yesterday. Manchester United won their first match in Europa League this season. We'll be taking a look at the results from that. And of course, what Ruud van Nistelrooy as well as what Mazraoui had to say about their performance yesterday. But let me begin with the information that has just gotten into our newsrooms, and this is in regards to the FKF elections. Now, it says, we would like to inform our stakeholders and the football community that a Kitui court has issued an injunction halting the FKF branch elections that were scheduled to be held tomorrow. That is the 9th of October. This decision comes following a lawsuit filed by a group identifying itself as a Football Kenya Federation, Kenya Football Association, KFA, which claims to be the legitimate authority to conduct FKF elections. As a result, the elections are postponed until further notice, pending a court hearing on Tuesday. So the FKF branch elections that were scheduled to be held tomorrow have been postponed. So we'll be waiting to it depends a court hearing on Tuesday. Then after that, we'll know when the branch elections will be held. Of course, this is just a new development when you talk about the Football Kenya Federation elections. Now, I want us to still stick with Football Kenya Federation, and it's all about the elections. The countdown, of course, it's on the candidates that are running for different seats are in campaign mode at the moment. And this morning I got a chance of speaking to Barry Otieno, who's a former CEO of Football Kenya Federation. And my biggest question was he's been in charge of football for the last 5 years as the CEO of Football Kenya Federation. But why does he want to be the president of Football Kenya Federation? And if elected, what does he intend to change? Let's listen in.
Under contract, of course, the CEO of FKF is an employee of the Federation. I was not at a policy level. Yes, I was a senior employee of the Federation, but the National Executive Committee of FKF acts as a board, so you implement policies that are passed by the National Executive Committee. I believe that as president, there are a number of things that we could push. I'm not running because of what I want to be. I'm running because of what I believe I can offer Kenyan football. And having worked for FKF for 5 years, we feel that there are 4 major areas that we need to work on. So one is that we need to empower FKF branches. It's not right, Elijah, that FKF branches meet the national office once a year. And the national office makes rules and decisions that then affect football, especially at the grassroots level. I feel that FKF branches need to be empowered more. They need to be involved in the decision-making process of the federation. The other thing is that we need to capacity build our people. As I mentioned, of course, we've done a lot through club licensing, but now we need CEOs who can be given the right skill set to think strategically. So in terms of strategic planning, marketing of the football brand, sports law, so that we do not have cases of clubs being sanctioned for unlawful termination of player contracts. But not only clubs, capacity building should happen at both levels, at the club level with club officials and at the grassroots level with branch officials. For the 5 years that I was at FKF, we never held a single capacity building workshop or training for football administrators. So we emphasized more on training the coaches and training the referees. We feel that now a lot of work has been done on the pitch, and that's why we qualified for, I think we are the only federation that qualified for AFCON with women, AFCON with men, won CECAFA with women, won CECAFA with men, qualified for AFCON U20, and eventually qualified for the U17 World Cup for the first time ever in the history of Kenya. So whereas that work is good and has been done on the pitch, now we need to see, and I'm just using this as an example, we need to see Gor Mahia become a brand. We need to see the Gor Mahia leadership, AFC Leopards leadership, understand that a fan can come to the stadium and they can pay, but also after they pay, we can get more money off them by offering them snack at halftime. We can ensure that there is a family environment by ensuring that Their cars are not broken into. There is no hooliganism into the match. They can buy merchandise. And it's only this experience that will build numbers that eventually then will bring commercial partners. Because Safaricom, for example, will not sponsor football because it's a charity organization. Safaricom or EABL, all the blueprint organizations that we'll have, will only come into football when they feel there is value. And value in football, most of the time people say that is brought by the player. The player is a key component, but funds are the one that drive the commercial aspect of football. And we want to capacity build our people so that they understand, both at a club level and at a branch level, that it's really important to understand that football is not a leisure activity. Football is a commercial entity that can drive the economy. And that is where we are really focused on. The other thing is we need to professionalize the management of our leagues and competitions. And it's not right to make regulations for clubs. We need to sit down with club officials, agree on what works, what doesn't work, including the size and structure of these leagues, the FKF. And I'll give you an example of the FKF Cup, now known as the Mozart Cup. The Mozart Cup starts at the round of 64, and maybe it's something that other people should try and see whether it makes sense. And because of seeding, if your club plays at the NSL and FKFPL level, you don't play another side that plays at the FKF or NSL level. So, for example, if Kakamega Homeboys enrolls for the Mozart Bet Cup, round 64 they will play a team in sub-county. Round 32 maybe a team at county. Round of 16 a team at regional or Div 1. Quarterfinals maybe a team in the NSL. And then in the final is when they play one team that plays in the Premier League. And immediately after that, this team is expected to go and represent Kenya in the CAF Confederation Cup. If you look at the preparation leading to the CAF Confederation Cup, iron sharpens iron. It's not, they are not well prepared for that. And what we are saying, and we discussed last time with the Premier League clubs, is can we then look at the FKF Cup and say, maybe if your team is playing in the FKF, PL and NSL, then through club licensing, you bring your U20 to take part in that competition and introduce a more competitive cup, if you can call it that way, that features maybe 8 top teams in the NSL, 8 top teams in the FKFPL, so that by the time you go to represent the country at the CAF level, you are prepared. And so these are discussions that we continue to have. And the last one that is key really is that the future of not only football, but any industry depends on the people who are coming behind. Depends on the youth, if you can say that. So we need to have a clear pathway of my kid who is 10 today, sitting in my sitting room, on how he will move from being an amateur player all the way to a professional player. And I said it last time, youth football is really important, but a lot of people do not understand the issue around youth footballs and the dynamics. So it will surprise you when I tell you that the Ivorian League, the Cameroonian League, the Senegalese League are way behind our local league today. But when it comes to the national team level, these are very top countries in football. But what have they done that we've not? They have realized how to send kids to Europe, to the UAE, very competitive leagues at a very young age. Most of the time before they reach 16. But there's also a uniqueness with how a player turns pro. So from a technical perspective is that by the time you're 16, you should have trained for a minimum of 10,000 hours. Now, that is not possible in Kenya today because of two things. One is that most clubs do not know that. But also two is that the school system does not allow for that. And I said it somewhere else, just want to repeat for the sake of your audience, is if you take 2 players with the same potential at age 9, and one is trained by a good coach, and the other one is trained by an unqualified coach, let me not say a bad coach, at the age of 16, this will be 2 different players. But also, interestingly, if you take 2 players, same potential at age 9, they both train for, one trains for 2,000 hours, another one trains for 10,000 hours. At age 16, 2 different players. But even at age 16, where now they turn competitive, do we have the know-how in terms of football administrators, especially at the grassroots level? Do we have the know-how of what the market wants? For example, you have a kid who's 16 sitting in your house. Where do you take him? Is it possible to take him to Manchester United? For now, maybe it's not. So the ready market that we've learned over years and during my time at FKF is that there is a ready market for young players to go into Eastern Bloc of Europe and UAE. This issue of thinking that a U19 team is a youth development side is not right, because at 18 what you can basically do, because you build a player the way you build football. So 0 to 9 is purely developmental, me and the ball. 9 to 16 is understanding that yes, it's me and the ball, but I'm part of a larger group. I have teammates. I start to understand my roles. I can play fullback. I can be a striker. At 16, there is the element of me, my teammates, and the role of the opponent. That we have an objective. We have a strategy to win against people. And then at 18, most of the time at a global level, it's purely mental. It's working on the mental state of the player to turn pro. And so these are the 4 pillars that we really feel need to be worked on, and that's why we are running.
Yes, let's move away now from FKF elections. We get into Europa League action. We had a couple of matches yesterday, and we begin